And we are live. Now, there are not a lot of people sitting with us, but at least we're there. And it says there's only 2 people waiting, so I'm going to assume that's you and me.
Yeah.
So we wait a few little moments before we start talking about anything serious, or are we starting off? Up to you, mate. Oh, wait, there we go. Hi there, Michael Keller.
Oh, for goodness sake.
What? You're upset that Michael is here?
No. I was boomering in the YouTubes, and you know it's funny, but you see, for some reason, you see chat comments faster than I do on YouTube. Maybe it's because it's your channel.
Maybe. But yeah. So Michael,
you respond, and then I see the comment you respond to, and it's a bit annoying. Your joy of my right. It wasn't you, mate. It wasn't you. Sorry.
He's always like that, Michael.
You should have seen the faff I got into with Skype on my tablet earlier.
So yeah, we're going to give it a few more seconds to see if more people show up, and then we're going to go all Trump on your asses.
Trump.
Build the wall, isn't it?
Well, you said we couldn't have a declarative statement. We had to ask the question. Trump wants to build the wall, and that's a declarative statement.
Yeah. I know. You wanted to have a declarative statement.
I didn't. I wanted a question mark.
A question mark after a statement doesn't
it's
make...
not. It is. Build a wall is a question.
Hi there, Davey. I'm here. We should build a wall around the M25. Well, there is that. Inside it. Across it.
Yes, no good happens inside the M25.
So it would be Walter Ulbricht. How would it be Walter Ulbricht, Michael Keller?
Oh, it would be.
Wouldn't it then be Orban? I mean, Orban actually built a wall. Nah, a fence. Feverishly typing.
I don't know what I'm typing.
Yeah,
I could have just said. Okay, I'm still on Wednesday mode.
Neither day.
Oh well, no. Modwin's too.
Oh right.
Modwin's too hot, and I'm a miserable bugger.
Well, yeah, it's. But I understand now what you meant with build the wall thing, but.
Yeah, but the difference is in this case, the machine guns would point in to keep the people inside, not to stop people.
Well, that would be kind of like the same thing, though. I mean, if you build a wall around London, you do it to keep the people in London, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't think that through, did I? My apologies.
No, I would probably instead of said go all Trump, I should have said we go all Orban on their asses, because Orban actually did build the wall.
I'm just trying to think. A 250-mile alligator pond. Got to be something nice and scary.
Well, I mean, alligators are protected, aren't they? Got to think of that.
Yeah, exactly. It was different, Michael. Thank you. I knew I wasn't going mad. Yes.
And yes, he did build a fence, build a wall around Bromwich?
Birmingham.
Oh, you're not allowed to call it Birmingham. It's Birmingham now. Ham is halal.
No, it's Brum.
No, ham is haram. That's sorry, not halal. Haram.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of hams in Britain.
Mostly in politics.
Well, I live in one. I live in Gillingham.
Well, ham isn't halal, so I know the English government and the English army don't want you to say Istan after anything, so Birmingham isn't allowed.
No, you say it first, Istanbul. And Birmingham's got a famous ball ring, so it's Istanbul ring.
Ah. I thought you put it at the end as well.
No, I'm just saying. But if you can't say it after, you could say Istanbul ring.
Right.
Birmingham.
Why do British cities all around sound like some bad food? I agree. Well, there are some that don't sound like
good food. You mean?
Oh, how is it good?
What, ham? You mean like prosecco and prosciutto or something? Prosciutto and yes, I think you know.
Fair point. All right, fair point. Hi there, Warped. By the way, I didn't know if I said hi yet. Yeah, read too many mozzies for my liking to be going near.
Hey,
anyway.
Berlin and Frankfurt.
Yeah.
Well, Frankfurter.
Frankfurter. Yeah. Hamburger.
And if you say "Ich bin ein Berliner," it also means you're some sort of food item, apparently.
Yeah, Berliner Bowl. It's a pastry.
There's no cake or chocolate named after an English city. There's a lot of Dundee cake. Oh, that's a Scottish city. Eccles cake. That's a town. It's a donut.
A Berliner, yeah. It's kind of like a donut.
Oh, right. Sorry, I wasn't listening to that bit.
And a Frankfurter is a sausage, and a hamburger.
Yeah. Hey, thank you. So this is my point. So stop picking on the English for food names.
No.
And Nice, bloody biscuits. Not even very good ones.
Mm. Well, there are no such things as good biscuits, are there? Biscuits.
Pontefract cakes, even if they are made of licorice.
Right. Okay. So the question is, because now that we have a few people around, so we might as well get started. How wrong was John Cleese when he complained about how he didn't recognize London as being part of England?
Well, it wasn't wrong at all. So I don't recognize London.
Yeah. The thing is, I've been thinking about how can we do this without being too much of an ist or an o, or without being too negative. And I'm like, you see, the thing is, John Cleese said it about London. I can say it about most of the cities in Europe.
Yeah.
I can make the exact same arguments as he made about London. And I'm 100% sure that those that don't want to hear this narrative will make the exact same counter arguments. And by making those counter arguments, they are actually proving the point.
Yeah. But it's not a new point.
No, it's not. It's not. It's kind of funny because, as Davey said a moment ago, Mosley walks around again. And it's like, you know, Mosley was rather xenophobic, but you can argue how xenophobic he was all day long and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, but xenophobic means right now, doesn't it? Correct, as in not correct. Yeah. Xenophobic means you are correct, but I don't want to argue your point.
I mean, if globalization indeed is such a great thing, why is globalization only in one direction? I mean, and let me see if I can find this image again, because I talked about it a moment ago. See if I can find this image. Come on. Obviously, I can't. That makes totally sense. You know what? I'm not going to look for it. If you can, once you want. At this point in time, there are more black people in London than there are white people in the whole of in the whole of the continent of Africa, excluding South Africa, because South Africa does have a bunch of white people. But if you don't take South Africa, you're only going to take the rest of Africa, which is a continent nearly twice as big as the whole of Europe. There are more black people in London than white people in the rest of Africa. And somehow mentioning that obviously means you're an ist or an ob. I don't get this.
No, it's not. It's like, am I talking sense? I know. I'll talk to an SJW, and if they insult me, I got it right.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes you wonder, though. I mean, I'm not in favor of ethnically excluding certain people. I'm not. But at the same time, I'm also not in favor of accepting everyone because you have to. There's no reason to have to accept everyone. There are plenty of reasons to say, you know what, maybe we need to dial it down a bit.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. It's just, it's like saying a thing and just wait for the useful idiots to spurg out, you know, including the word spurg, funnily enough.
Yeah, it's weird how.
But yes, so let's talk about funding this wall. Okay, so I suggest 100 feet high, with razor wire and surrounded by a moat with crocodiles in it or alligators.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say 100 feet high. I would say
no, it's got to be really high just to annoy them.
I would just say go with a moat. A big moat?
No. It's got to be a tall wall so you can see it from the high points in London.
Ah, right. So you can see it from the millennial eye.
Well, or you know, it's like when they do Wimbledon coverage, they always do a shot from the high camera of Wembley Stadium, even though they're at opposite sides of the city, because it's generally flat between, and there should be a backdrop of a wall all the way around.
Well, that's going to be. I'm going
with to keep out. You will be shot on sight, and words like that painted in massive letters all the way around.
Fair enough. I can go for that. But there's going to be a problem with the wall. There's London is connected to the sea.
Yeah. So you mine the Thames.
You mine it.
Yeah, we put mines.
I know what mines are, mate, but
in the Thames.
Isn't that a bit high?
And you well, we've got the what they call it, the what they called it now, Thames Barrier. It's a thing. It's a flood defence they built downstream. You could do something with that to stop any ships getting through.
Okay. Well, who knows?
Hey, look. Why are you being practical with this? I'm trying to be fanciful. 100-foot high wall, built by Polish labour, of course. Got only the best. People who work cheaply and well to schedule. Okay.
So build the wall
by the finest English red brick. That's important. But
white, not white chalk.
No. Chalk's too dissolves for a start. And
highly ludicrous.
Let's see, how thick should it be? 20 meters.
That would be a bit of an oversight. 20 meters. You could build
How
houses.
how wide is the Chinese wall? That wide.
Uh,
I
So-
mean, it's got to be a deterrent to people trying to tunnel through it or under it.
So you want to make the Chinese Wall of London?
Yeah. Well, I don't see why not. After all, it's to keep the damn foreigners in. Have a foreign wall to keep the foreigners in.
Yeah. make London in a how do you call it?
Well, look, they've got City Airport, right?
hmm.
And oh yeah, Heathrow's inside the M25, so they can have Heathrow and City Airport, right? So
Right.
they're inside the wall, and
Okay.
they're how they get out.
Okay.
So they can go abroad, fine. Just the rest, just England and the rest of the UK is off limits.
Right.
And we take all the SJWs and all the politicians and we put them inside before we start.
Yeah, but I mean that's unfair though. They'd be dead within 5 years.
They'll be dead.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's already the highest murder city in most of the world.
I think he's got to go a long way to say they'll be all dead.
Well, don't you think that if we put a wall around it, it might accelerate the murders?
You mean that is that an airlift? A Luftbook? Luftbook?
What do you mean?
Booker?
I don't know what you
Michael Keller. Then you'll make a Luftbooker. Sorry, I can't pronounce German.
Oh, a Luftbrück. Yeah, airlift. Yeah, air bridge.
Air bridge, yeah. So they can be in Europe, okay. They'll want to remain. All the Remainers can go in there. They can be in Europe, okay.
Yeah. We build a wall, they will build a trebuchet. The arm race continues.
and that's why it should be thick. It should be a very thick wall. Filled with nuclear waste. So if they try and break it, it spills nuclear waste into them.
I'm still saying Orban had the best idea ever by basically building a fence. I think we should go the same way, actually.
Yeah, well, you do understand that all our politicians would be straight on top.
That's all right. We can make it
because they
barbed.
like to sit on the fence.
Yeah, we can make it barbed. You don't have to make it comfortable for them.
But then they'll mutate around. Mutate around?
Yeah. They grow around it like a tree around a bicycle.
Well, as long as they're not allowed out, that's fine.
Obviously, my typing is terrible. But see, I knew I'd find the image that I was
I don't know. They could embark on a project to build a tunnel from London to France, and then they could just have a direct train. That's a nice one.
Well, a direct train into France.
Yeah, from London.
They're trying to get into England from France.
No. We close the Channel Tunnel, right?
Right.
We blow that up, but they can have another tunnel from France all the way into the London area. So they can have communication with France.
Okay. Well, that actually might work.
Well, they've got their little city airport, Heathrow, and a train tunnel. I think that would work, yeah.
Yeah.
And we could get the Swiss in on it because they're building that super long tunnel through the Alps, apparently.
Well, you could extend the tunnel, by the way, the train tunnel. I mean, it's
No, you can't.
Why not?
Because the Channel Tunnel it's up to ground level.
Yeah, but we can dig it out again. I mean, obviously.
No, because you need to fork to not come up, to not rise.
No, that's okay. You let it rise above land, but just build a fence or a wall around that bit as well.
Well,
So
we've already got that. It's called the high-speed rail link, but it passes through our country, and they would pollute us.
Yeah, I mean, you could fence in the channel one, can't you?
It's at Buxton, not at Dover. But anyway.
Yeah, but
no. I say a new tunnel from London directly to France.
Wouldn't that be too
preferably through the middle? No, that doesn't work.
Yeah, with an easy to open hatch halfway through, so you can clean out the trash in the tunnel every once and again. Just flood it out.
Well, we don't have to put. You don't have to put ventilation or anything daft like that.
Well, anyway, I'm well wrecked antibiotics and stiffed up. I'm sorry to hear that, Real Raven. I hope you'll feel soon better. That was terrible English, by the way.
Am I in a telephone booth? No, I'm just using this shitty webcam.
Yeah, same here, mate. Like the IJsselmeer in Dutchland. I don't understand what you mean with that one. IJsselmeer has been, contained. It used to be a sea. We're good at containing things in the Netherlands. Well, except for foreigners somehow. Because like cities in England where English people are de facto a minority in their own country, we have the same problem in... Well, obviously we have the same problem in the Netherlands. We have the same problem everywhere in Europe.
Well, I mean, they've been selling off London to the highest bidder for decades, you know. It was the Arabs, and then you've got the Russians, and you know.
I think there's something sincerely wrong that you still have the City of London as a separate entity.
Oh no! The City of London is something special.
Sorry?
The City of London is something special. Very few people live there. It's where the business is.
Yeah, I know. But it's part of the problem.
No, it's not. The city itself isn't the problem. It's the...
It's one of the main, how do you call it, catalysts.
No, the financial sector being a problem isn't particularly related to London, the City of London.
Well,
and besides which, the French and the German are working like mad to stop that being a problem anymore.
Oh, all right. We have the same problem in Switzerland, 25% foreigner quota, not counting asylum seekers, refugees, and those who drive to work during the day and leave in the evening. Well, but that's the thing. And I mean, there's something sincerely, I won't say wrong, I'll say weird. There's something really weird going on in Europe at the moment. Not just in Europe, but mostly in Europe. But I mean, I've seen a newspaper article, not newspaper, but online. How, for example, in I think it's New Zealand, it's actually a crime to say it's okay to be white. It's as if whiteness everywhere around the Western world seems to be, how do you call it?
Well, it's a kind of insanity, isn't it?
Well, very much so, yeah. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? I don't understand how this is. I mean, stating that you're not happy about the capital of your own country, where your own people are basically the biggest minority, recognizing that this is the case, not even saying, okay, I don't like it, merely saying this is what's happening is already offensive. I mean, the last time I went to France, it was actually, I went to Paris, it was actually a nice city.
Yeah, I haven't been for a while either. Long time.
And even then, there were problems with the non-French people there. So yeah,
That's weird, because normally people complain about the French people in Paris.
Well, yeah, they complain about French people everywhere. I mean, France is a beautiful country. There's just too many French people living there. It must have been a long time ago. Well, at least I think it's about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
20, between 20 and 30, something. Can't really remember that much. But I wasn't that much of a mess as it is now. I mean, it's amazing. And if we look in most big cities in Europe, this is true for France, this is true for the UK, this is true for Germany, this is true for Spain, this is true for Italy. It's
Well, I think that I did. Was it the Danes, where you have to speak the language and pass a test?
Well, yeah, in Denmark, if you would go there, you would get you were given a period of 2 years to learn the language, and if in those 2 years you didn't manage to learn the language, I'm sorry, you can't stay. But they will also give you a chance to actually learn the language. I mean, they would make sure that there are teachers and all that available for you. But then I think it was 2 years ago where a lot of people went all of a sudden to Denmark, and Denmark said, okay, you know what? You come here, you have jewelry on you, you have all sorts of items that can be considered wealth. We're going to take away your wealth because this is going to pay for your stay. Now, obviously, we're not going to trash it. We're not going to throw it away. So you can earn them back. But, yeah, you have to pay for your stay. And nearly all of Europe fell over Denmark because how dare you let refugees pay for their house and all that. And I'm like, actually, Denmark is the only country at that point. They unfortunately rolled it back. But they were the only one that actually made sense because, let's be honest, we all have to pay for our stay, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
There's something sincerely wrong. And basically, we're going to say, well, yeah, no, it's a terrible thing. These people are refugees, and we need to help them for free. And I'm like, I'm 100% behind helping refugees. Don't get me wrong, I am. But if you can afford help, it's unfair that I, as a poor bastard, have to pay for your stay when you have the money to pay for it yourself. Funny enough, the Denmark case was quite interesting because Germany and France were very much against it. But there were actually Syrian refugees who chose to go to Denmark for that very reason, because they felt that they were taken serious as people. So they felt that Denmark would give them a bigger chance to become a participating member of their society. Which is funny because that shows that between refugees and refugees, you already have a world of difference, because there were those that are refugees and really wanted to do what needed to be done. And then there were those that came to holiday. I was thinking of the changes that happened in Sheffield, that nice and leafy to now just not so many steelworks. Oh, okay, you're talking about something completely different there.
I was talking to Davey. I've put his name in the comment.
Yeah, Jimmy Stiff, the clickety-clack of John. I don't know why he's not talking. He can say stuff, you know.
That is a matter for debate at times. But I didn't want to talk at a cross conversation because Davey was talking about having a nice and let's scroll back up.
I'm waiting to hear though. But yeah, hi there, Jimmy. So is John Cleese wrong?
No.
Should we?
It can be, but not on this particular issue.
Yeah. Should we advocate for the destruction of indigenous people worldwide? No, not the destruction. should we advocate for the replacement of indigenous people worldwide? Because basically that's what it boils down to, doesn't it? Is the replacing of indigenous people a good thing or a bad thing?
Well,
don't mention the Nazis, John.
yeah. Well, we have got footage of him doing the goose step.
True that.
And the Roman salute.
And the Roman salute, yes, there you have it. Oh, yeah. Well caught, Jimmy. Well caught. See if I can find that one. That was fun as well. No, actually, I won't look it up because they already have enough reasons to demonetize this one. Don't worry, I'm not monetized anyway.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Would YouTube take the effort to monetize you?
No, actually, they still owe me €30 because I was monetized, and then they decided to change the monetization settings, and I would have been able to reach those settings if it weren't for the fact that they actually throttled me.
Yeah. Well, they throttled everyone.
They did. But I mean, if you Google me, or no, not Google me, if you look for me in YouTube and you type my name, and then YouTube is suggesting you, oh, did you mean blah blah blah? And if you then follow the link that YouTube is suggesting, they'll tell you that there is no such thing. Maybe I can show it. That's fun to do.
Yeah, well, have you noticed whenever people get banned or demonetized, they can never get a clear answer as to what the problem was? I do not consider that to be in any way an accident.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, we're going to share. Okay, let's prove the point. Now, obviously, when I start typing here, it already says Modwayne because
that's your name.
It's my name. But for most people, when they look for Modwayne, they get Modmain. Now, these two, actually, these are the only two where they allow me to replace or remove them, because these are based on, I think, cookie or memories or whatnot. But when you type Modwayne, they're going to say, do you mean Modmain? Even if you type Modwayne Aileron, they're going to say, did you mean Modmain Aileron? Now, let's see what happens when we go to Modmain Aileron. Oh, no, there is no such thing as Modmain Aileron. Then why the hell did you suggest it, you?
Sorry, that was a very peculiar.
Yeah, I didn't want to swear. See, I self-censored myself there. Well, obviously, because if it's not self-censoring, it's not self-censoring. Yeah. I should stop eating. I mean, don't swipe. Oh, right.
I don't know what he means.
Me neither. I think he meant Skype, though.
Well, it could have done, but I don't know why it'd be on Skype as we're watching. It's a YouTube video.
Like, I'm sorry. That's like when you goigel fell for But when you obviously didn't make yourself clear on YouTube. I'm not quite sure what I could do to make myself clear, Ludicrous, but I'm more than willing to take hints.
Well, I'd hate to say this, but I would suggest that making oneself too clear to YouTube, given our views, is not the best strategy.
Yeah, they might not be tolerant towards it. Well, they're not tolerant. Let's be honest. Guys, swipe, scroll up, Google, Felfop returns. What's that? Do you have an idea what Real Raven means? I must be getting old. Guys, swipe, scroll up.
I don't know what that bit means.
Me neither.
Is he using a voice act?
No, I don't know. Even if you reverse it and type...
I've heard the name Felfop Returns. I know the name. I just don't understand why Guy's swipe scroll up is in there.
Oh, right. But yeah, no, thanks for trying that out, Nick. It's quite funny because there are lots of different things. I mean, Midway and Mod Main, and there's lots of things they suggest. And most of these things boil down to nothing. I mean, if they at least suggest someone that has a name closely to mine, well, fair enough. Shit happens. But I mean, oh, did you mean Mod Main? Yeah, oh, maybe I made a typo. Well, that one doesn't exist, so fucks to be you.
So I just cracked a bad joke. Jimmy Stifffinger said, are you sure you're not Mod Main? And I said, more Mod Peripheral.
Yes, Mod Wayne is main. Like that one then. Swipe is an Android app where you type by whipping across the
Wiping across the keyboard.
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I've heard people who play the piano like that too.
Well, I mean, so I think we said all we want to say about England then. No, not about England, about London.
No. We haven't devised and some play. Can we? Once we build the wall, we should give them some play.
Okay, so how do we build a wall?
With the Polish labourers and British brick. I told you, red brick around and fill in the wall, okay, cavities with lots of nuclear waste, so that if they try and break the wall, they will spill the nuclear waste inside the wall, and that'll deter them.
Right.
Well, they always say, what do you do with nuclear waste, right? Okay, so you build it into the wall. Some nice, you got to encase it in something. Why not a wall around London? I think that'd be a perfect place for it.
No, okay. No, that makes sense. Davey, I'm going to answer that question in a moment, though. Because, yeah, I have no problem telling you where that name came from. But, yeah, no, would building a wall like that be a good idea? I personally say, you know what? Lay a swamp around London. Fill it with...
You see, British history. Alfred the Great survived when he was nearly defeated by the Danes by hiding in a swamp in Somerset. So swamps have a certain, historical relevance to the country.
Yeah, that's why.
So if you put a swamp round, they'll just have some Anglo-Saxon monarchs hiding in there.
Yes, and lots of alligators.
No.
And you can build a fence around the outside of the swamp. So
no. Honestly, the moat with the alligators goes outside the wall.
I would do it on the inside.
No. It's got to be, because it's a tourist attraction for the rest of England. Okay.
Yeah, it becomes a tourist trap then.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And some might never come back. Ooh. Makes it interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I don't agree, Ludicrous, because they can scream during the swamp all they want, but I don't think anyone will actually do it.
Well, London is...
The lantern worm wasn't a myth.
What's the lantern worm? I don't know.
I have absolutely no idea. I think you'll have to Google it. Worm is also an old name for a dragon.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you knew.
No, actually, worm is a better word for dragon than dragon.
No, dragon's a perfectly good word.
Yeah, but dragons are worms. Why? Not worms with the O, by the way. Worms.
Uncultured swine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he's English, don't you know? Oh, I dared.
Oh, it's from County Durham. So I'm sorry, it doesn't matter if it's true or not, Davey. It's in the wrong part of the UK.
Oh, right. County Durham, where's that?
And they spelt it with an O, not a Y.
Lindworm, that's something else. Together, Real Raven. Anywho, so we got.
Hang on. This is for you, Modwayne. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that. So that's more like that's like a little bit like Gurmengand, a small version of the world snake.
You what?
Norse mythology, mate.
Oh, okay. Probably. I mean, County Durham was part of the Dane with Daneweir.
Yeah, there you have it. And Lindworm, only if they have 2 legs. All right. Oh, damn it. I need to pee. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Old man being old and all that.
I'll leave everyone to Google it themselves or DuckDuckGo it as I did. But, yes. German word for dragon. What's Lindworm is a German word for dragon. That's very nice. Interesting bookmark. Bookmarks. Are they? Were they? What interesting bookmarks. Or did I? Oh, I don't know. Oh. Ah, dear. That's how boring the stream is, that somebody finds the bookmarks along the top of my browser interesting.
Well, I mean...
No, the football match finished at just around...
An hour ago?
An hour and a quarter ago. And Liverpool won, beating the Spurs of Tottenham.
Yeah. So, okay, back to the wall. No swamp then, no worms.
Oh, the agony you hear in the background. Well, yes, my next door neighbour, one of them's a Liverpool supporter, so he's actually celebrating. Do I remember the thalidomide problem exploding? I remember the after effects of it. I'm a bit too young. They were about 2 or 3 years older than me, the kids with thalidomide. But you know, from when I started school, there were kids with stunted limbs and things.
Well, Hadrian's Wall was in Scotland, wasn't it?
No, Hadrian's Wall's in England.
Was it? I thought it was.
No, it's in England. It goes from back Carlisle to Wallsend, funnily enough. The place called Wallsend in Newcastle, which is the end of the wall.
And it was made by the Romans because they didn't want anything from beyond that point to come into their beautiful...
Yeah, and they weren't very good at it. The Scots were very good at raiding across the wall.
Yeah, because I've been told that the wall wasn't that effective.
Well, there were 3... Well... No,
but
the first problem is that even though there was a wall which had gates in it because people still traded.
I'm sorry, again.
Well, people traded, so there were gates in the wall. So it wasn't like, although there was a wall, it wasn't like...
Yeah, no, that's what I meant, because, I mean, the Romans were pretty good at building walls, but it seemed that this wall didn't really have their. They haven't had their mindset.
Oh, there were three walls. There was Hadrian's Wall. There was also the Antonine Wall, and another one which was just sort of like a ditch.
Yeah, but they didn't really care about it. That's the main thing.
But Hadrian's Wall was the big one, the long-standing thingy.
But that's the funny thing, though, because the Hadrian's Wall was built by the Romans.
British engineering, no wonder it didn't work. No, it was definitely Roman engineering.
It was Roman engineering, which is what makes it so weird, because they were actually good at building walls, but they somehow didn't care about the one in England. There you have it. But it was foreigners that came to build the wall, so maybe we should indeed let the foreigners build the wall in London, around London.
Yeah, I mean, we have 21st century technology and Polish builders. So I say,
how
do
about
a proper job of it.
What about how about this idea? How about we make the first ever real live firewall? That's a tourist attraction, if ever.
No. That would people just use those asbestos suits and things. You know,
you don't have to use actual fire. You could make it electrical.
Yeah, then you just use a thingy cage.
Yeah, Faraday's cage. I know. But you want to do you want to undo the Faraday's cage? Have a little bit of water sprinkled in for the effect. That will absolutely nullify the Faraday.
Well, look, the wall would be a statement, and as I told you, for those long views where you just see across London and that great big wall curving round in the background with all the slogans on. You will be shot.
Trespassers will be shot.
Do not pass.
Isn't that one of Pooh's thingies?
Who?
Pooh Bear.
What?
Oh, I forgot. But didn't Pooh Bear had a Trespassers W sign?
I have absolutely no idea.
I think it was.
My parents abused me as a child. They never read Winnie the Pooh to me.
Oh, poor chap. What the hell? What did I do now? I think I did something wrong. Well, fuck it. I'll fix that later. Trespassers W. I'm pretty sure. Well, it's also a band, obviously. Stupid.
That was Rabbit. Thought that was Owl.
You thought it was Owl?
I'm just reading the chat. I don't follow I'm not following the conversation, but that's okay.
Trespassers William is Piglet's grandfather. He may have perished according to Piglets. His grandmother called him TW, shorter for Trespassers Will, because of the sign being Trespassers W. See, I knew there was something stupid about
that. Yes, stupid is correct. Yes.
Yeah, no problem acknowledging that. But I always thought it was an interesting storyline.
Okay.
Shot.
I'll take your word for it.
It is, though, isn't it?
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Should have given that to Paddington Bear, who saved decades of immigration. Oh.
Well, no, we don't mind the South Americans.
What, is Paddington a South American?
Yeah, he's from Peru.
Is he?
Yeah, he was from Peru, and he arrived at the station, which is why he was called Paddington Bear. I don't know how you get from Peru to Paddington Station, but he did.
Right, okay.
Maybe he flew to Heathrow, and then the train from Heathrow into London stops at Paddington.
I'm not well versed enough.
Before the Central Line connected Heathrow to London by tube, obviously, because it's an old story.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Bloody Peruvians, look how they treat their pets.
You see, you've done it again. There it is. You've read the comment and I haven't even shown up on mine yet. But yeah, the only trouble with Peruvians is all them bloody panpipes. Can't abide panpipes.
Well, isn't that where the guinea pigs come from? No, that's not. They came from Guinea. Stupid question. Never you mind. I've got the South Park story in my mind now. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't watch that either.
Oh,
Is that where guinea pigs come from? No, they come from Guinea.
well, that's why they call that, isn't it?
It's just. Oh dear.
I'm sure of it.
No, they don't come from Guinea. Guinea is a country in West Africa. Guinea pigs come from the Amazon.
So then they might come from Peru.
No, Peru's the wrong side of South America.
A guinea pig or domestic guinea pig comes from... Yes, of course. They're not really clear. History.
But it does say they're not native to Guinea.
The guinea pig was first domesticated as early as 5,000 years before Christ.
Well, they are good food, apparently.
Well, yeah, they are. For food by the tribes in South America. So there you have it. Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia.
Oh, so it is North. That's...
Well, I was still wrong when I said they came from Guinea. Fair enough.
Those liver fans found the goat. Or what's the phrase for the background noises? They're having a celebration party. Liverpool won the Champions League.
Yeah, but I don't want to be thinking about what they're doing with a goat in that.
They've got small children. There's nothing untoward going on. And they're very nice, respectable people. He is an accountant, and they never do anything to them.
I have a vivid imagination, mate. You're not making it better. A goat and small children.
No, there's no goat. I don't know where you got the idea of a goat from.
You said.
Yeah, I'm reading that the goat was part of Michael's comment.
Okay. I'll try not to laugh. I'm not good at it though.
Still waters run deep. Now he's just babbling nonsense. Everyone respect accountants. Now that one makes more sense.
Okay,
He drives.
Already derailed the stream for today.
He drives a Kia. I'm sorry, no one who drives a Kia is that exciting.
Well,
he's a lovely guy. Don't get me wrong. Won't say a bad word against him. But racy, he is not.
Yeah. Well, as I said, we've thoroughly derailed. I'm not sure how we can get back from this one. So, should we get more guinea pigs into London?
Well, it depends. Do you mean literal or metaphorical?
Define the difference.
Well, a literal guinea pig is lots of little furry animals.
Right.
A metaphorical guinea pig is an subject for an experiment.
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that one. You're right there, though. Build a wall around that nonsense. Yeah, sorry, mates. I was really hoping to have a serious talk about this.
Why?
I have no idea.
I mean, wasn't the whole point of the Saturday stream to just have a laugh?
Yeah, true that.
There you go. If you want to be all miserable and serious, come on a Wednesday.
Come on a Wednesday if you want to have fun.
Come on the Saturday.
And the ghosts.
Yes.
I'm sorry, guys.
Well, you've got rabbits. I've got noisy neighbours. Maybe it's Michael who's really got the goats.
Oh, that's possible. Michael, anything you want to share with us, mate? I've got beautiful rabbits.
Yeah. Now, Jimmy's back on topic. I absolutely agree. And mine's for the right times as well.
Machine gun nest and checkpoint. Well, you know what? And I'm going to be historical and all that. not machine guns, Nest. Again, let's give the tourists something to look at. Maxims.
Yeah, Maxim's a machine gun.
Well, Maxim is the machine gun.
Yeah.
Right? Nowadays, say a machine gun, people talk about the Spandau, for example.
Spandau. That was the name of the prison in Berlin where Hess was kept.
Yeah, but which I forgot the name. I know it as a Spandau. It's World War II.
Oh, sorry, I just read Michael's bad joke.
Michael's bad joke. If you want to be serious, do a stream on Sunday going on Monday.
Moon. It's actually Moon Day.
No, Gatling. The Maxim. I think the Maxim is actually better than the Gatling. But yeah, the Spandau was the MG42. Thank you.
What's that mean in English? Apart from 2 letters and 2 MG, they made some good cars.
Yes,
back in the day.
The Spandau Maxim machine gun MG08, but that was the first one because that's the Maxim, and then the MG42 was codenamed the Spandau. This is where the term Spandau ballet came from.
I thought it came from the prison.
No, because it was a machine gun which was very good at spray and pray. I mean, you could.
Why the? Try not to swear. I am historically illiterate. No, I'm not. I just don't care about certain trivia. I care a lot about other trivia, by the way. Yeah, why on earth would the Ponzi band like Spandau Ballet name themselves after a machine gun?
That's another story altogether. But the Spandau was called the Spandau because it created. Well, no, it was a nickname that I don't know why they called it Spandau, but they got the nickname Spandau because, all MGs had the nickname Spandau. It was a German company actually, and the Spandau Ballet was because it was a suppressive firearms. I mean, you would spray and pray a certain area, but it was dreadfully inaccurate. Kind of like the Maxim. You could aim for an area, and anything within that area might get hit or not.
Mm-hmm.
And they made terrible noise. And the Spandau was the German main machine gun, and the Bren was the English main machine gun in the Second World War. And the funny thing is that the Bren was more accurate, and yet still there were lots of people who would rather have a Spandau than a Bren, because the Bren might be very.
The Bren gun was a little handheld thing.
You had the bigger Bren as well. Well, it's not as big as a machine. Listen, the Spandau you could handheld as well. You needed both of your hands, obviously, but yeah, you wouldn't be very accurate with that. The same is true for the Bren. You could handheld it.
Hang on. The Spandau part of the term refers to Spandau prison in Berlin, and this is on the Wikipedia page, so it must be true.
Okay, so let me see.
I told you, because that's the Spandau I had heard of when they started.
Let's see, because I'm also looking at Spandau, and Spandau is something that, because it's from a German company, and I thought that's why it got the name.
No. As I say, it's like Spandau was always famous in Britain for being the prison where Rudolf Hess was.
Oh, I'm willing to believe that. And a Bren was well. Basically, you needed with all machine guns, you always kind of needed a crew of at least 2, one for the weapon and one for the ammo. So, but yeah, you could have a crew of 3 because that way you had more ammo. That's basically it. And I have been watching Lindy Bates, but I'm not really sure if he was my main source when it came to the Spandau, to be honest. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Every German machine gun was a Spandau. I'm not quite sure why. I thought it had something to do with the company making them. I can't remember that. I have to look it up. But yeah, so we got a wall. We got machine gun turrets, and for historical preference, and to give someone some tourists something to look at, we're going to put in the old Maxim machine guns, not the Spandaus, not the Brens, the Maxims, which are by far way worse when it comes to accuracy, but they're fun.
You must have a different definition of the word fun, one that's a bit noisy for my tastes.
Hey, listen, it's a great noise to hear when you're on the other side of it. You don't want to
a bit repetitive. I think. I don't know. Some modern jazz blared out only in their direction should be.
Oh, come on! Every year people burn off fireworks, so how is that any different?
How is it any different? Because it's not a rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat. It's a more sporadic burst.
Okay, let me see. Share this one because we're going to talk about this one for a second anyway. Share. Hoppa, there we go. So,
that looks a nice old one. Looks like an American cavalry thing.
No, this is the ones we should have. Nice and historical. You don't want them to be accurate. And then you have a slight of a display because when people are trying to get past them, you can actually see if they manage. And there's a chance that they can, actually, because they were woefully inaccurate. Oh, that's really nasty of me. I shouldn't say stuff like that. To be fair, shooty bangies do look cool. I agree. No, not mustard gas.
Well, as the prevailing winds comes my way from London, probably not, but...
That's what I wanted to say. How are you going to confine that to one spot? It is the MG1. Yeah, the MG8. I couldn't find an older picture really fast. Sorry, mate.
Flamethrowers.
Flamethrowers. I'm not sure flamethrowers are a good idea, but that brings us back to the firewall idea. Yes. Yes. Flamethrowers it is. But then you have people dressing up in asbestos suits.
Yes.
So, though I'm wondering if would wearing an asbestos suit be okay against a flamethrower? I mean, yes, okay, you might not get burnt, but the heat would still be unbearable, wouldn't it?
Well, people go into all sorts of burning scenarios. It depends how long they would have to be in it.
See, and it's almost as if we're now in favor of murdering all those people in London that aren't English. But that's not the point, though, is it?
No. We are definitely not being xenophobic about this. The English people in there go too.
Yeah.
And anyway, if they stay put and put up with their lot, no harm would come to them.
Yes, this is all the weaponry and stuff we're putting out there. That's for the tourists, so they have something to see. Right. I mean, there are still people going to the guns in what's that island? Gibraltar. No one uses those guns anymore, but they still go there to see them. Yeah. Hence, I'm coming up with old stuff, not new stuff, old stuff. Makes sense, doesn't it? Well, very little, perhaps, but still.
Yeah. I see what Reflections agrees with me. If nothing else, Londoners deserve the bullet for their bloody awful accent and their speech impediment.
Wait, I mean, I like Cockneys, don't I?
No, it's their use of F instead of the. Thing. It's not a thing. At least the Irish are funny because they say things like tree for three and turd for third, and that's funny.
Yeah. And Michael, no RPGs. We want to keep it historical.
What? No remote player games, whatever it is.
That's rocket-propelled grenades, mate.
I know. It's just the fun you can have with. Oh, yes, they're still celebrating. If that sounds like a goat, they're celebrating.
For fuck's sake, John, don't keep doing that. See, a moment ago you were blaming Michael for saying it's goats. They're celebrating with goats, and now you're basically saying, "Oh well, if you hear the goat, there's."
No, I'm saying if you think you hear goats.
Oh, role-playing games. Oh.
I'm sorry, ludicrous. I'm just old and ignorant about role-playing games.
Well, Germans experimented with RPGs in World War II. Actually, RPGs. You had RPGs in I think you had RPGs in World War I as well.
Well, yeah. Didn't the Americans have the bazooka in World War II?
Well, in World War II, definitely. But I thought they had something like that in World War I as well. And the Germans went with the Panzerfaust in World War II, where the bazooka was the American way of doing it. But basically it's same difference.
A rocket-propelled gun.
Self-propelled artillery. That might.
It seems rather redundant there, Davey. But never mind. What do I know?
Yes.
I'm not going to get pedantic about terms about guns and things I don't care about.
Anything else that we might think is interesting?
Nettles. A swamp of nettles.
Nettles?
Yeah.
You just wear long trousers and there's no problem.
With very sharp, pointy bits that go through the material.
Oh, you mean like rose bushes?
No. Just very nasty nettles. Breathe some nasty ones that.
No. Roses are perfect, actually.
Yeah, but they look nice.
Beautiful.
Pretty.
You can't use landmines. There's nothing. You can't use landmines because it's nothing interesting for tourists to see. That's
no. And mines are a problem. Landmines.
Yeah.
We're using water mines in the Thames. Okay, that's accepted.
Well, I haven't found a better idea for the Thames, so for the time being, all right then. But yeah, no, not landmines, because we want the tourists to see something, right?
Well, you could use like a high aerial shot to look down inside the wall.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Shrek is not a word. It definitely is a word. It's just not a normal part of the language.
So, okay. We've got a firewall because the fire thing came back. So I'm going to go with the firewall.
It came back in your head. I want my bricks, my good old English bricks.
Oh, that's perfectly fine because you can have a brick wall, and on top of that you have a firewall, and on the other side you have a small.
No, I've got it. Right. No, you put the brick wall, and then you put the firewall inside it, and then when people run through the firewall, they run into the brick wall.
Run into the brick wall. We need something concrete.
No. Too Roman. Concrete's too Roman. But then so are bricks. But no. Good old
So we've got a wall. We put a firewall on top of the wall.
No. The firewall is the lining inside, so that people just see the fire. People on the inside just see the fire, with the brick wall on the outside.
Okay, so you have fire, then brick wall. And then on one side, will that brick wall be partly engulfed in fire?
Well, no, because it's a modern high-tech firewall, remember? I mean, you couldn't have a normal fire because you need to provide fuel for it.
Yeah, but you could use, I mean, you could use like a sprinkler system in the wall to sprinkle out horizontally fuel for the firewall.
No.
Wow.
Because that introduces
I'm
structural
sorry.
weaknesses to the structure. You want something. The wall should be as solid as possible.
Okay. Warped reflection. I hereby grant you my first official warning. How dare you be so mean to dogs? Dogs next to landmines. Honestly, what did those dogs ever do to you?
Yeah, and remember, they'd have to bite those people.
No. We might infer that, but we don't. Dogs are nice. You have to be nice to dogs. Putting dogs next to a landmine. I mean, obviously that's not a good idea. Let's put it like that.
You can't use SJWs, Michael, because they're the people on the inside. They're part of the banished.
Yes.
All Remain is going, right? So that includes all SJWs, because no SJW is a Brexiteer. So they all go inside.
I feel sorry though, because those people in London might not ever see John Cleese again.
We'll send in videos from his heyday. You know, Monty Python, Fawlty Towers, those sorts of things.
And Real Raven makes a point though. Bubonic plague may already be in LA.
Yeah, we don't want to be importing those fancy smancy American diseases. We'll have some British ones, thank you.
Yeah, but the bubonic plague isn't really a fancy smancy American one, is it?
It's a joke.
I mean, we used to have them in Europe as well.
Yeah, but from China, wasn't it? Came from the Orient, I believe.
Probably, yeah.
And pesky bloody Venetians going around trading with people, bringing their diseases back.
Yeah, that is true.
Which video's that, Davey? Tim Pool's video.
Well, so a wall filled with nuclear waste. Wait a second. Well, actually, that's a good idea now. Now that I think of it, because they also did green energy, and for green energy,
you want nuclear power.
Is nuclear power, and then we also have a place to put the nuclear waste.
Yeah, of course.
Fair point. I didn't even think of that until right now.
Well, you should get with the program.
Get with the program. I'm sorry. You're right. Slow and all that. Guys, you're doing this all wrong. Majority of Scots that bother to vote to stay in the EU just ship all the archives to Scotland and rebuild Adrian's Hall bigger and better.
And remember, we've still got the problem of London, because this is where we started. John Cleese's observation that London was no longer English.
Yeah, but if we move everyone from London to Scotland.
Yeah, well, no, because you see, the problem is that, well, that William didn't help, did he? Because, I mean, he came over here, bloody French, Norse, Germanic hybrid, confiscated the whole of the country. And so technically, the country's been German, French, whatever, ever since. And the current lot, they're a bunch of Germans, aren't they?
Mm.
And then we got the Russians and the Arabs, as we were mentioning earlier, owning stuff.
Yeah, but that'd be Scotland's problem then, won't they?
No, because they own the land. Can't go around confiscating things.
Listen, if you can go around confiscating lands in great countries like South Africa and Zimbabwe, then surely it's allowed to do in London. Theresa May actually spoke in favour of it.
Well, we don't have to worry about her anymore, do we?
Yeah, it'll be a while before her legacy will...
London would be empty. Yeah, it'd be much nicer if it was empty, Michael.
That is true.
It would. I mean, you see, there's some lovely stuff in London. It's just ruined by Londoners.
So, yeah, we're talking about what can we do to keep it interesting for the tourists.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we need those tourist shekels.
Yes.
Lots of tourist shekels.
Not the Tory shekels.
No, I mean, you know, all the touristy bits are very nice, well preserved. We make a great theme park. That's true, ludicrous. Yes, Theresa May can't succeed at doing anything, even resigning as Conservative Prime Minister in not 2 weeks. She said, didn't she say the 6th? That's 5 days from now.
And now the question is, will she really be gone by then? And we all know the answer.
Of course not.
Yeah.
I think that would ludicrous's point, that there's no way she's capable of meeting a target.
I mean, let's be honest, the UK would have been out of Europe by now. It wouldn't have changed anything, really. Other than that, they're no longer part of Europe. No, that's not true. They are part of Europe. They were no longer part of the European Union. Sorry, I had to redress that because that was wrong of me.
Yeah, Will Raven suggesting everyone moves out of cities to the country. The only reason there's so many people in Britain is because people live in cities. The country is nowhere near large enough for the number of people to live off the countryside.
I'm not sure about that, to be honest.
No, it's not. I mean, at the turn of the 18th, 19th century, there were about 20 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now there's over 65. And the growth is in the cities.
Yeah, that is true. But
I mean, if you took the people out of the cities, then they would have to live on all the agricultural land, and then you wouldn't have any food. We don't grow enough food as it is. We have to import it. So imagine if you took half of or much of the productive land that's left.
Yeah, that's true. I once calculated, I'm not the only one who calculated it, a lot of people have calculated, the whole of the world's population will fit in a single home with about 50 meters by 50 meters living area in Texas.
Uh-huh.
That would mean that the rest of
one house, everyone in one house.
No,
you mean one house each?
One house each. Pedantic bastard.
You said the whole world population will live in a single home, and I'm going, oh my god, it must be a big house.
Yeah,
you've seen Tommy?
I've seen Tommy.
Yeah, the film by The Who.
Oh no.
Towards the end, he invites everyone to come and live in his home.
Yeah. I remember the musical. I've never seen it, but I've heard it, obviously.
Yeah, it was, well, I'm old enough. I saw it when it came out. I've got a video of it somewhere.
Well,
So Real Raven wants Davey to be a van.
hey,
I think he means can, but he said van. You van.
you found me my Marsha. What's the Marsha?
Marshal for driving the city rats, or
Rats out of the city.
well, if it's for driving out rats, it is a trap, Michael.
But it's not a Kafka trap. There you have it. Ha ha! I'm sorry. I wasn't called for.
No, it was. That's perfectly fitting, is it not? The sort of bad humour we need on this sort of stream.
Yes, that is true. Actually, I am going to answer a question Davey asked me a moment earlier. The name Modwayne Aileron, it's not particularly Dutch, so why did I come to carry that name? If anyone is interested, I am willing to tell that. And it seemed that Davey asked, so I may as well. A long, long time ago, I started playing role-playing games. And my second or third character, the second or third character I ever played, I really wanted to have a unique name, because obviously all cool names like Punisher and stuff like that were taken, and I wanted a name that was pretty unique. But I also wanted the name to sound realistic. Modwayne actually is a unique name.
I was going to say.
Sorry?
I was going to say it's like it's not a common name.
No, actually, if you Google it, well, the first 20 finds you will find are me, unfortunately. But if you Google it historically, there has been a Modwayne around I think late Middle Ages. And I think he was a writer, but nothing big, obviously. And I'll not lie, I did not know that at the time that I thought up the name. And I used that name then, and I've kind of always started using that name. Whenever I played a new game, my first character would always be called Modwayne. The name kind of stuck. I think it sounds cool, don't you?
Okay.
Does that answer your question, Davey? I'm hearing people say yeah in the background.
Yeah, I think that's more. Yay, Liverpool won 2 hours ago.
Yeah, they're backwards people, aren't they?
Well, it's been a while since Liverpool won anything, so you kind of can't blame it.
you got to be nice.
Yeah, don't mention runes, Real Raven. They're banning them in Sweden.
Runes are being banned by the hypocritical Swedes that actually signed a treaty to prevent shit like that from happening. But yeah.
We have different laws for different people. It's why in Britain you can discriminate for any group that isn't white men. You can have women only. You can have non-white only.
Yeah, Davey, I was really bad at killing. If you look at Modwayne's Aileron kill day in EVE Online, I have to admit, I often was a support vehicle. So yeah, support vehicles don't really kill.
Yeah, but far right is anyone who's not a far left lunatic these days. So that's essentially everybody.
Well, that's the funny thing, though. I mean, far right is basically everyone who isn't Pol Pot.
That's what I said.
And the English army have now upgraded their game, because now you have the far right and you have the extreme right wing, which is further right than the far right, apparently. I saw a video, I think it was from, who made that video? I can't remember. Someone made a video about the English army giving out a sign to tell people, okay, you know, this is what you need to look out for to find out if the people around you are maybe extreme right wing. And one of the first things they mentioned is if an English soldier is patriotic towards England. And I'm like, well, for fuck's sake, you're serving in your own army, and being patriotic for your country is a bad thing. That's the whole thing with your own army, isn't it? You're willing to die for your own country.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is that.
Oops,
Real party, right?
Oops, sorry, Davey. It wasn't you. I meant Michael. My brain
That's true.
leaked out of my ears or something.
The Nazis weren't right wing; they were left wing, actually.
Yeah. Sorry, it's Michael Keller I was answering to, and then I put Davey. Sorry, Davey. Well, the left logic, Islam is far right. Well, it is.
Well, actually, it is. It's
a very conservative religion.
Yeah, the same way that conservative Christians are right wing.
Yeah.
They have to be.
After all, who is out there campaigning on the streets against LGBT? Hey, mansplain's the only way I know, Michael, and I would hope it's the same for you too.
And Davey, I'm not saying the Nazis did nothing wrong, because I do think they did a lot of things wrong, but that doesn't make the Nazis right wing.
No. After all, they introduced paid holidays. And
if you like a weekend, you must be a Nazi.
Yeah.
Are you in favor of people being helped to stop smoking by their government? That's very Nazi of you. But yeah, no, I mean, if we look at the death count of the Nazis, which was terrible, yeah, that's still a left-wing death count. And in all fairness, let's look at the communists at the time, which had a way higher death count. And the main reason that the Nazis and the communists were fighting was because they were both of the same religion, but of a slightly different inclination. Did I say it correctly? I think I did.
Sorry, I was trying to read the chat because everyone's doing typos, which is, yeah. The funny thing is some typos you don't need to correct. Yes, autobahns. Yes, they invented autobahns. They did, what else did they do? Holidays, autobahns or something else they did. I can't remember. My brain's gone. But lots of workers' rights, that's the point. But very, very un-right-wing things for the day.
Yeah. But I have to admit with John on this one, this is something he pointed out, and I totally agree with him. The problem isn't left or right. The problem is totalitarian.
It's them uppists. They're always up themselves, the uppists.
Yeah. And the Nazis were very totalitarian, as were the communists, as were the Bolshevists. But they were all totalitarian from a left-wing point of view.
Yeah. After all, National Socialism, yes, it's in the name, exactly, Davey.
I like the fact that there was this joke, an old joke. After the Third World War and the nuclear dust had settled, we don't care about who was right, we care about who was left. And I thought that was such an incredible, smart thing to say until I started thinking about it. Which is the problem with left-wing rhetoric. It sounds smart until you start thinking about it.
Yeah, just about the whole lot of it.
Anyway, the whole idea was that we would do these for an hour.
Yeah, but we're having fun. Well,
we are having fun, that is true.
We're not being serious.
And we've talked about a lot of things for the last time, but not a lot about London.
Well, let's be honest. Who wants to take their mind too close to that cesspit of depravity?
Okay.
It seems that the chat are losing their minds at times as well. Left wing is a deepity. What the frig is a deepity?
A deity, perhaps, yes.
No, you put deep, deepity, a deep itty.
Like Deepak Chopra. I don't know. What do you mean, Davey? Make some sense, will you?
No. He's from Birmingham. It's in the accent.
No, he's not from Birmingham. You can't call it Birmingham anymore.
I didn't say Birmingham. I said Birmingham.
All right, then.
Birmingham.
Word created by Daniel Dennett.
Okay.
Needs
I know who Daniel Dennett is. He was one of the four horsemen of the
all right.
Of the New Atheist movement.
Don't make fun of mobile phone users. Something that is trivially true, but
totally wrong when you think about it. Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's not so much left wing as all the ideology.
Well, this is the one thing I always keep saying. I mean, I don't mind who you think is a great person, who your religious father is, or your ideological father is. I don't care. But you have to be able to criticize it. If you're not, well, then you're a totalitarian. You're not a thinker.
No, but it's like all these, because it's all based on a morality that manages to advocate for policies that will achieve the exact opposite of the stated aim.
Region shaming. Yes, Warped. First dogs and now region shaming. You're not doing well today.
Well, she's Scottish, so I think all the English are fair game to her, which is fair. All's fair in Anglo-Scots relationships. After all, you know, we have salad, vegetables.
Anyway, my lovely wife wants to start doing some work at the living room. And normally we would have stopped earlier, but she's asking me to call it quits for tonight. And in all fairness, we have been going for 1.5 hours, which is slightly longer than we were planning.
Yeah, the Cornish art English walk reflection. Sorry.
But I am going to call it quits for tonight. I really did enjoy it, guys. Thank you all for coming. Obviously, thank you, John, for coming. And well, we hadn't had an answer on how to build a wall.
We have poles. I told you they're very good at construction.
Yeah. That's who to build the wall.
No, that's how. You just say, build the wall, and they will do it.
But in all fairness, consensus is yes.
Live stream from, I assume, John's channel in 10 minutes. Why?
Because I'm calling it quits, and
I know, but I mean, surely everyone would be glad to make their escape.
No, why would they? We have such a good time here.
Yeah.
Actually, Ludicrous actually wants to continue over at your place.
Well, he's more than welcome. That's a word, John.
It seems to be that I'm the one who's not invited. Then, thank you, Ludicrous. Yeah. The party is moving. Well, yeah, there you have it. Anyway, any famous last words, John?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm going outside. I might be a little while.
Thank you, Davey. The chat has been fun. Thank you, everyone else.
Thank you all for your contributions. Probably more interesting than me and Modway, but
Warped. Why am I not allowed to come out and play?
Because of your lovely wife who wants you to do some work in the living room.
All right, that, yeah. Damn it.
You did say.
I did say. I already forgot. Anyway, thank you all for coming. And till next time.